Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So for today's video, I've decided to do the Ride or Die makeup tag. This was made by JACLYN Hill, and it's basically, if you were stuck on a desert island, what would you bring in terms of makeup? So I think I've got everything for like every different makeup category, and I've got quite a lot. So I'm just gonna get stuck into it, otherwise we'll be here for hours. So the first thing I have is a primer. This is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Smoothing Primer. Whew, I love the Nivea aftershave balm thing for men, but I've recently really gotten into this, and I kind of find myself reaching for this over anything else. And it's kind of like a silicone-y based primer, and you really don't need a lot. It's like that standard kind of, you know how the Benefit Professional is? It's similar to that, but I find that this just melts into my skin and it doesn't feel like I've got anything on my skin afterwards. Completely hides your pores. Use it all the time. I just pat it sort of into like my nose and around my T-zone and everything like that, and I find a little really does go a long way, and yeah, I'm using it all the time. Next we have a foundation. Now this was a little bit tricky for me because you guys know I used to love the Bourjois Healthy Mix, and I still absolutely adore that stuff. And I also love the Milani 2-in-1 foundation concealer thing. But my favourite has to be the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. I've done a full review on this. If you haven't seen it already, then I will link it down below. But this stuff, it just stays on your face all day, and it gives you the most flawless coverage. It's kind of like a nice demi-matte finish, so it doesn't make you look oily, but it doesn't make you look matte either. So perfect if you kind of like a bit of a dewy kind of finish, because you can put like a highlighter and everything over the top. Honestly, my favourite foundation ever. Next we'll move on to concealer, and we all know that I love the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. Everyone loves that. But a brand new favourite of mine is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. To be honest, this shits over any concealer I have ever tried. It's a little bit more up there in price, but it's so worth it. You really don't need a lot when you use it. I use it on spots, I use it under my eyes, I use it pretty much anywhere that needs concealing, and it just does the job. I have it in the shade medium, and it's still pretty light, so I can highlight under my eyes with it as well. It doesn't go cakey or anything like that. It lasts really well. I always used to use the Collection with the NARS and kind of combine the two, but this is the thing that I reach for these days, and if you haven't tried it, definitely recommend it because it's probably one of my favourite products at the moment. Next I'm going to move on to eye primer. I don't always use eye primer just because I find that my eyelids aren't overly oily, but when I do use a primer, I still don't actually use a primer. I use the Maybelline Colour Tattoo 24 Hour Creamy Matte, and I have this one in the shade Creme de Nude, so it's literally like a nude shade, and it's pretty much like a light coloured almost concealer, but this stuff does not budge. So if you are putting like, I don't know, bright colours or something on your eyes, then this is really good. I just pop this all over my lid, kind of blend it out a little bit, and then set it with a powder, and yeah, I just really love it as a primer. I never use it as an actual eye colour just because it's like not really a colour, but if you are looking for like a cheap eye primer and you really don't need a lot of this either, then definitely recommend this. Next I'm going to touch on cream contour. This is the Freedom Pro Strobe palette. They do two. They have one powder one, which I really do like, but the one I use the most is the cream version. As you can see, it's very well loved, but I really love these two shades. As you can see, they're like the most used, but for £10 I think this is, and you get like a really nice contouring brush. This is so good. This is one of the first products that I tried from Freedom, and it just started off this whole massive love affair. So if you haven't tried this and you are looking for a cream contour kit, definitely recommend it. It's like super pigmented, super creamy, it doesn't get patchy or anything like that, and it's just so good for the money. For powder contour, this will be no surprise to you guys that watch a lot of my videos. It's the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. As you can see, I have hit pan with this, and if you don't know, it smells like chocolate. It's absolutely insane, but this is like my favorite ever contouring bronzer, and also just general bronzer. It's like a nice sort of warm tone but also cool tone, so you can contour with it, but you can also warm up your face with it. Honestly, probably one of my favorite makeup products ever. I use it all the time. If I'm in a rush, I'll use this as my eyeshadow as well. Yeah, honestly, if you haven't tried this, just give it a go because it's probably one of my favorite products I've ever come across, like I said, and I mean, it smells like chocolate. What more could you want in makeup? I also have to do a quick honourable mention to the Benefit Hoola. Again, I have hit pan on this bad boy, and that's a lot coming from me. I don't hit pan on a lot of products. Basically, I like this if, say for example, right now, I am a lot more tanned on my body than my face, and I just like to warm my face up with this. So sometimes if the Too Faced doesn't cut it, because it is a bit more cool tone, I'll reach for this bad boy and it just warms up my face really naturally. On to blush, I kind of have two favourites. I have the NARS Orgasm, which you guys know I use all the time, and because it's so tiny, I have like the mini size. I do pop this in my handbag more than anything else, but when I am just doing my makeup at home, or I do have more space in my handbag or something, I'll use the Sigma Corda Rosa Aura Powder, and this, as you can see, it's just like a nice, almost like ready kind of maroon tone blush, I guess. It's super pigmented, but I use a really light hand and just pop it on the apples of my cheeks, and I just find it's like a really nice natural blush. The Orgasm is kind of a bit more pinky and a bit more shimmery, but this is just my favourite blush for every day. But it is a lot bigger than the mini NARS Orgasm, so when I do have space, I'll bring this one. When I don't have space, I'll bring this one. Next for powder, I know you guys know that I love the Rimmel Stay Matte, but to be honest, it's not actually my favourite. I don't know why I never really use this powder. I think it's because it's quite bulky. This is the Clinique 20 Invisible Blend Powder, and I love this stuff. It's literally invisible. It lasts so long, and I don't know why I've never featured it in a favourites or anything like that, because I use it whenever I'm doing like my everyday makeup. I think it's just the fact that the Stay Matte is really compact and I can take it around with me, but this is just so good. It's like a really nice finely milled powder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you guys that because it's about to go all over my dress, but it's so finely milled, and it literally does just go invisible on your skin. So definitely recommend this if you are on the hunt for a really good powder. You can bake with this, you can do whatever with this. It's honestly just so good. So if you haven't tried it, definitely maybe go and try and get like a sample from a counter or something, because it's really good. But I also do love the Rimmel Stay Matte. Next, I'm going to move on to like liners and mascaras. So my favourite liquidy liner is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. If you guys haven't seen my first impressions video of Kat Von D makeup, then I will leave a link to it down below. But it's honestly incredible. By far the best liquid liner I have ever used, and it doesn't dry out or anything like that. It's super black, really easy to use, especially if you're like an eyeliner noob like me. Yeah, honestly, so worth the money. For pencil eyeliner, I don't tend to use pencil liner for like the outer parts of my eyes. I only really use it for tight linings, so I want something that lasts, and for that I use the Makeup Forever Aqua XL liner. That's just in the shade black. Honestly, the best liner I've come across. Is a bit more up there in price, but so worth the money, especially if you are just tight lining, because you won't need to use a lot. And I don't think I've sharpened this yet, and there's still a lot of product there, and I have used it countless times. So yeah, really worth the money, and just such a good black, like normal pencil liner. So next for mascara is something that you guys are probably sick and tired of me banging on about, but it's the Rodial Glamour Lash XXL mascara. This stuff is literally the best. I try out a lot of mascaras, high end, low end, ones that are going to be absolutely amazing, but this one comes out on top all the time. Every time I use this, I get like the most perfect lashes in my opinion, and I love it for like top lashes and bottom. It doesn't smudge or anything like that. It's honestly just the best mascara ever. If you guys ever ask me what's on my lashes, chances are it's this bad boy. It's honestly so good, and I've had it for a really long time, and it only seems to get better like the longer I have it. And yeah, I've had it for literally months now, and I'm still using it. Probably shouldn't be, but it hasn't seemed to run out or anything like that. So again, a little bit more pricey, but so worth it. When I run out, I'm going to be buying like, I don't know, I'm going to be buying enough of these to last me for the rest of my life, because if they ever decide to discontinue this, I don't know what I'll do. I'll end up with like mediocre lashes. But yeah, honestly, best mascara I have ever tried. For brows, you guys know I'm pretty high maintenance when it comes to my brows, so I have 3 products for you. The first one is a brow mascara. This is the Bourjois Brow Design, and it's in the shade 04 Brown. I like the Gimme Brow and stuff like that from Benefit, but this I find is just cheap, cheerful, does the job. I don't really need any extra fibers in my brows. They're already like taking over my face as it is, but this is just a really nice tinted brow gel, super cheap as well, and yeah, it's just a really good one. In terms of what I do the majority of my brows with, you guys know I love a good brow pomade. This is the Anastasia one. I also love the Freedom. They're kind of neither here or there. I think you get a little bit more product with the Anastasia, but the Freedom is super cheap. The reason I don't have it here with me right now is because it is dried out a little bit more. So tonight I'm going to put some like contact lens solution drops in there, and it will just help sort of moisten it up a little bit. But this one I have recently done because this one did dry up as well, and honestly, they both last such a long time. They're pretty much exactly the same, that's why I'm just showing you this one. But yeah, really love both of these products. I sort of flit in between both of them, and I don't know where I'd be without a brow pomade now. I go to use brow pencils and I'm like, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the Freedom Pro HD Brow Palette. I tend to use these 3 colours here, and I also carve up my brows with this stuff all the time. It's not a concealer as such. I do use the MAC, I think it's Pro, I don't know, it's some sort of matte concealer that I will leave a link to down below. I tend to take that with me if I am on the go because this is a bit more bulky, but whenever I can I use this kind of concealer colour shade just because it's amazing for carving out your brows, because it doesn't really have any sort of pigment to it as such. It just cleans everything up and you can blend it out super easy. So yeah, absolutely love this, and again, this is super affordable. So if you are starting out like a makeup kit or something, definitely recommend this because you kind of got everything you sort of need really. In terms of finding an eyeshadow palette that I would go to a desert island with, I struggled a little bit until I came across this bad boy and I thought, this is like the most perfect palette for me because, okay, so first of all, it's the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. If you guys have seen my tutorial, you'll know how much I love this palette. And I love it because it contains a bunch of really neutral shades, and it's also got some pretty crazy shades in there as well. Like I love Real Gar, I love Red Ochre, and I also love the shades like Raw Sienna and Tempura, or I always say tempura, that's like a prawn food thing, isn't it? I don't know, but it's tempera. But I'm going to call it tempura because it just rolls off the tongue. But yeah, I love these eyeshadows, super pigmented, and I just feel like a palette like this you can kind of do pretty much anything with because you've got some nice smoky colours, you've got some pops of colour, and you've got some nice neutrals in there as well. So yeah, definitely recommend this palette if you haven't tried it already. We'll leave a link to my full sort of review and makeup tutorial of this one as well. And some of you requested me to do another look on this. I will be doing that very soon, so stay tuned for that. Highlighter. You guys know I have so many highlighters, but it's got to be Anastasia Glow Kit in that glow. These two colours, the best, especially this one, but I kind of mix these two together because I'm afraid of running out of this one, so I kind of add a bit of longevity to it by adding in a touch of this one. This is the shade Bubbly. I don't know if you can buy it on its own, but honestly, it's the best highlighter shade I have ever come across. I would use this over anything, and like I said, I have got a lot of highlighters that I absolutely adore, but this bad boy, just, it's my absolute favourite, and you guys have seen me wear it loads of times, and I'm sure you've probably tried this palette or you've looked at it online or you want it or something. Honestly, it's so worth the money because I think it's like £40 in total, and you get 4 highlighters. This one is a little bit dark for me, but I'll use it on my body sometimes. This one is good for like brow bones and stuff like that, and then these two are just, they make the palette. So yeah, definitely love this palette, and I've just realised I think this one is discontinued. I'm sure you can still get hold of it on those different other websites and stuff, but it is going to be a little bit harder to get hold of. I think the Sun Dip palette is going to be pretty similar, and I know they have brought out their brand new like massive palette of highlighters, which I'm 100% going to get my hands on. But yeah, Anastasia highlighters in general, just really good, so definitely recommend you check them out. For lipsticks, you guys know I love me a liquid lipstick, so I had to choose between my favourite one of those, and that was like choosing between a favourite child. But in the end, I came up with the Ciate Liquid Velvets. You guys know how much I love these. I've done like a full lip swatching video of them, which again, I will leave a link to down below. But in terms of liquid lipsticks, these are like the perfect formulation for me. They're moisturising, they're semi-matte, I'd say. They don't go fully matte, so they don't look drying or anything like that, but they are like a matte-ish kind of finish. And the colour range is amazing. They have like some really nice sort of natural colours, and they also have some crazy ones, like a nice dark blue. This one has to be my favourite though. It's the shade Wonderland. I use it all the time. I find that when I'm stuck for a colour to wear, I'll go for this bad boy. I wore it to my graduation and loads of people asking what was on my lips, and it was this, and it lasts for such a long time as well. And last but not least, I have to give a quick honourable mention to my favourite setting spray, which as you all know by now is the Urban Decay All Nighter. Combine this stuff with the All Nighter foundation and your makeup will just last probably for the rest of your life. This just does not seem to budge your makeup whatsoever, and it feels really light on your face as well. It doesn't stick your makeup on like glue or anything like that. It's just the absolute best setting spray I've come across, so definitely recommend you give that a go. So anyway, that's everything for my ride or die makeup products. Let me know what your favourite products are in the comment section down below, and if I haven't tried anything, I'll be sure to give it a go. If you are wondering about this makeup look, then it's actually all W7, so super affordable, and I have done a full makeup tutorial all about it, so I will leave a link to that down below as well. Please feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to see more of me. I post every Thursdays and Sundays, but apart from that, that's it from me. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!